Good afternoon and welcome to our weekly women's volleyball press conference with head coach Tyler Hildebrand. Go ahead and start the press conference with an opening statement from coach, and then we'll open it up to questions from the media.
Thank you, Lindy. While we're getting ready for another quick turnaround, we had practice. We were off yesterday because we had to travel, and the rules are if you fly or travel, you can't train the next day. So we were off yesterday, and then we had to train today, and then we have a quick one tomorrow, and then we get on the road. What we're realizing with our schedule is we've had 3 weeks in a row where we're having a really quick turnaround. So we're not having a lot of time to train, but we're getting a lot of experience and getting obviously tested with our schedule. And last week was a success in a lot of ways because we had a great match, I thought, against UNO where we played really well. That team's pretty good. I know their record doesn't show it yet, but they're fast and they're hard to deal with. And it was a tough environment. I don't know how many. Do you remember how many people were there, Lindy? It was 1,400 or 1,500. And so it was a tough environment. We played well. Some things we've been working on with offense were clicking. And as always, it's a great experience to play at Nebraska. And if you take the second set out of there, which was not our best, the third set we had chances to win the set. And in the first set, the score is 25-18, but 3 or 4 plays that we probably could have made or should have made would have made it a tie game. So, but that Nebraska team, in my opinion, is the best team in the country. That's the best team they've had in a long time on paper. Obviously, they got the Big Ten, and we'll see how they do. But that's the most impressive team, and I've been a part of 3 or 4 of them recently. They're really, really good. So it was great to get tested, and looking forward to this week. U of A is going to be physical, and they have 3 pins that are physical and big and a lot to deal with. And so that'll be another good test against a physical Power 5 team for us. And I haven't looked at Alabama State or New Mexico State, but they always finish first or second in their conference. So I'm sure we'll have three tests this week.
Coach, what are some takeaways that you could take away from last week's experience against Nebraska and Omaha, and how can you carry that into this week against Arizona, Alabama State, and New Mexico State?
Yeah, we're working hard on offense, and we're asking our attackers to not just hit the ball or tip it. We're asking them to be creative and asking them to get better, and we're setting an offense that's takes work to get good at. And, one of the takeaways was we were a little passive in the first 2 sets offensively against Nebraska. During the break, we challenged them to be more aggressive and find that balance of being aggressive but not too aggressive and not just getting stuffed or hitting out, but creating. And so we asked them to be more aggressive in the third. We hit 371 in the third set against the best blocking defense team in the country. So that was a big takeaway that we're learning, and when we do put both of those things together, aggressiveness and creativeness, then we can score against even the best defense team in the country. So that was one takeaway. The other takeaway is we can go on the road and beat a team. I think UNO and us are comparable, in terms of overall talent, and we can go on the road and play a really good match and win in 3, which we haven't done yet. So I would say those are 2 takeaways that, when we're at the level of a team or maybe a little bit better than them, we can put them away in 3 on the road. So that was good.
Coach, this was a very good crowd at Nebraska as well. Of course, this was a crowd going against you guys. So how do you think your team reacted, some of the new players getting into that game as well? How do you think they reacted to a very big crowd that was not their home crowd?
Kind of hard to tell. Nebraska can stress you in a lot of ways. They're a great serving team, so we didn't pass great, and they're really hard to kill the ball against. So it's hard to tell whether we weren't reacting well to the crowd the first couple sets, or if we were just getting pressured by a good team. And again, that's why our schedule is what it is, so we can get tested and we can learn from it. And we did. We learned in the middle of that match and played a great third set. I don't think the crowd had much of an effect. If anything, that environment makes you kind of rise to the occasion a little bit. that crowd is so special, and that gym is so special that I think that it's just a great experience. Any chance we can to go there, or if they want to, they might come here next year, or we might go there again. I don't know. Me and Coach were talking about it, but any chance you get is a great opportunity, and hopefully it helps prepare us to, play at Hawaii. So.
And then what can you say about the defense and how it's pretty much trying to keep up with some of the top opposing players on the other team?
I think we were a below average defensive team last year. Started out, I think, pretty poor, and then got a little better as the season went on, and, knock on wood. But, this year we've become a good defensive team, to your point, Taryn. And we're going to have to be, because when we play great defense, then we have a chance to score in trans. And our transition numbers over our first 7 matches, we're out hitting our opponents, including all the great opponents we've played, by 40 points. So we're at like 219 in trans, and the opponents are around 171. So that's a big number to be beating teams out. So we have to dig balls so we can give ourselves the opportunity to kill the ball in trans. Our trans efficiency is better than our first ball efficiency. So we got to work on our first ball efficiency, as we've talked about. But the more we dig, the more chance we have to win matches, because we are hitting well in trans. And so that's been a big piece that's made us a better team this year. The two areas were way better than we were last year, serving and floor defense, and that's helping us, stay in matches and have a chance to win matches.
You talked about the physicality of Arizona. You've already played a lot of teams that have blocked you guys very well. Is there anything you talked about first ball efficiency? Is that one of the things that is the reason why a lot of teams are getting blocks against your offense?
Well, I mean, one of the reasons is their teams are played up really big. So, we did a good job against Texas of creating, but they still had 13 blocks against us. So when we play big teams, we're not a big team, and so we're probably gonna get out blocked. But we have to be better first ball, to your point, Matt, or to your question, Matt. We have to be better at first ball side out. We have to be more aggressive, and we have to not make mistakes of, I shouldn't say mistakes, but we gotta learn as the season goes how to make better and better choices attacking. Zena, I think I've said this a number of times, but Zena has a really good knack for making great decisions as a setter. So it's not our setting choices. Not that Zena's not at fault. I'm just saying, she makes good choices. And our hitters are making better and better choices, but we need to make better choices to not get blocked as much and not hit out as much. And we're doing that, but sometimes it's that the cost of that. And Nebraska first 2 sets was too passive. And so it's going to go like this until we keep learning. And that's, I don't know if you guys know, but, learning isn't linear and growth isn't linear. So we're riding the wave right now, but we're getting better.
And with this being the last week of non-conference play for you all, what's your mindset going into this week, as next week you've got Cal Poly and UC Santa Barbara at home?
Good question, Taryn, but for us, no difference. We did our best to have the same mindset against Texas and LMU, and we knew that would be a tough challenge to do that, but, we have our saying, JT3, that's kind of between us, and that means a lot and that relates a lot to our mindset of every match and every opponent. And to your point, we open up the first 4 matches. I'm glad we're at home for those matches. That'll be nice. But those are obviously historically 3 of the top 4 teams that we're playing there, and San Diego's always, there too. So, yeah, no different this week than the other weeks. And we just, like we said, our first 6 weeks are the same as a grind. And then, it's going to be a grind to get through our conference after that. But our first 6 weeks are going to be big tests every single match. So, yeah, no different. I'm not trying to avoid your question, Taryn, but we know that we have a tough schedule, so it's the same.
And you got Natalie Glenn back last week. Great Omaha match. Struggled a little bit against Nebraska, but how big was it to get her back?
It was big, and yeah, she had a great match against Omaha. I wish that was week 2, because we made some changes with her offensively last week. Some different focuses that we thought were going to be good. and we didn't get to do that. But we had the idea before she got COVID, so we were going to have that. And I think again, it would be really nice to have her for those 3 matches at home. But she showed really good improvement. And obviously against Nebraska, she had a very tough match offensively. But sometimes that can happen. But she had a really nice match against Omaha. Not just like the number 300 that she hit, but she was doing the things that she was focusing on that week. And she had a great practice today with that too. So, for us, like I've talked about before, you can't make a change every week. You can't make 15 changes in a season. You have to have your base stuff you work on all the time, and you only get a little bit of time to work on a couple things, and you got to work on those things for weeks and weeks. You can't just like, oh yeah, we got better at it, let's do something different this week. So Natalie's going to be working on what she's working on probably for a while now, and so we're sticking to it. And it's nice to have her back and working on something that we think is going to, put a little jolt into her offensively.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.